Good evening, YouTube. Hardball Crazy coming back with video tonight. Is this card I got has been on my eBay watch list for a long time now, and my eBay watch list is usually full of hard to find, obscure, regional, foreign cards. I like to pursue those first instead of the same old Hall of Famers, because we all have the same old Hall of Famers. So I like to have fun and get the off the beaten path cards, which includes, and which a lot of these cards are you do not see every day on YouTube. So I'll share that. The title of this video is "They Finished Where?" These are all-stars, Hall of Famers, all-timers, all-stars who finished their careers in peculiar places. I'm not talking about, say, Ricky Henderson finished his MLB career with the Dodgers, or Randy Johnson finished his career with the Giants, Willie Mays with the Mets. I'm talking about outside the MLB. These guys finish their careers in peculiar places outside the Major League Baseball. But before I get into this, I just want to share, since it's Black History Month, and I want to share a little piece of Black history that I learned yesterday. Totally off topic. I'm a fan of music, mostly rock and roll, but I do appreciate other genres, multi-generations. I just don't do one little niche. I like all types of music, and most all types of music. I at least appreciate the artists of all kinds. And being mostly a rock fan, we all kind of understand that, or we are assumed that the beginning of rock and roll, the inventors of rock and roll, are the Chuck Berrys of the world, the Buddy Hollies, the Little Richards, and Jerry Lee Lewis, those guys. Muddy Waters a little bit, he's more kind of blues. But I discovered a person last night, I think after watching the documentary on her, yes, her, she is the one invented rock and roll. Her name is Sister Rosetta Tharpe. And she started well before those. Even Chuck Berry said, and I read on Google after the watch the doc, that Chuck Berry, her career was impersonating Miss Tharpe. I will sort of put a link down below as our documentary on Miss Tharpe. Well done. She was groundbreaking in several ways, and much respect for her. And after watching the video, I'll have to say definitely the inventor of rock and roll. Everything else came after her. Anyways, back to the video. We all know that Major League Baseball players, even the Hall of Famers, the all-timers, the all-stars, they love the game so much they kind of keep their career as long as possible, and they end up going to different routes. At the end of the careers, they don't expect to. They don't, like the Mickey Mantles, the Albert Pujolses, and Miguel Cabreras, and great entrances in Major League history. But they sometimes take them wherever they want because they still love to play, or maybe they're chasing a paycheck. So this video does not include Julio Franco and Manny Ramirez, because who knows what they're still doing. They've been playing all over the world, wherever, since their MLB playing days. So I'm not including those. That's the type of players I'm looking at. My cards are going to show like 8 or 9 cards here, date back to pre-war, because even like Hall of Famers, like a T206 set, it has playing dates Hall of Famers. One I'm going to show you is Hall of Famer Joe Kelly, who played predominantly with the Baltimore Orioles in the 1890s, with Wee Willie Keeler, Huey Jennings, John McGraw. His T206 is actually with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's not the only Hall of Famer that is in that set who ended his career showcased as a minor leaguer. Jimmy Collins, Boston Red Sox third baseman, is pictured with Minneapolis. Iron Joe Beginity, Hall of Fame pitcher, is actually pictured with Newark. So some of those playing days Hall of Famers actually kind of ended their career and pictured in minor league teams. This is a kind of example of some cards I'm showing you. Back in the day, up until before Western migration and early migration, live players entered the PCL, which is sort of like the fourth major league, third major league, and one player as such was Hall of Famer Joe Gordon, who was a player manager. Here he is pictured with Sacramento. And in his MLB career, after he finished with Cleveland, he went to the PCL, played a couple of years as a player manager. Then he ended up going back to the major leagues and became a manager again. I believe he was the Kansas City Royals first manager, I believe. But he's one of the guys who's kind of finished. You think if he's done playing, when you look at that last of his major league stats, he actually finished playing in the minor leagues, the PCL. There's other players into the PCL. I'm sure there's some of like the old Z-Nut set cards will have for major league stars that ended their career there. Some began, some ended, some did both. Back also the minor leagues. It's more recent. This is actually not a finished his career with the minor leagues, but this is his last season in playing professionally, and this is his last playing days card. And after he's with the Yankees and Angels, he bounced with the A's, and he signed with a minor league contract with the Tampa Bay Rays. And he started the season with the Rays, and so they signed a minor league contract, signing with their minor league team, and then playing mid-season with the Rays. Didn't play very well, got cut in the end of his career, but this is a card with the Durham Bulls. It's Hideki Matsui. His last season in playing ball is partial season with the Durham Bulls in minor leagues, ended with the Rays. And this here is his last playing days card. It's kind of a cool card in the collection. You probably maybe know it existed. There's some minor league cards to kind of, one of my top cards on my want list is a Willie Horton. After ended up playing with Seattle, he played in the Portland Beavers in the minor leagues. There's a couple cards of him. I want to get a card of him because Willie Horton is one of my all-time favorite Tigers. Of course, some plum players go to foreign lands to finish off their career, and most prominently Japan. I'll showcase some guys who I have cards of, MLB stars who finished their career in Japan, including my special mail day. This all started way back in the 60s. Did you know that Larry Doby, ended his career, in Hall of Fame career, he actually played a year in Japan? Did you know that Don Newcomb, ended his career, he ended a year in Japan too, but as a hitter instead of a pitcher. He pitched like one game and ended up being a full-time hitter and still hit like double-digit home runs in Japan. Frank Howard, 1960s slugger. He played briefly end of his career in 73 or 74 in Japan. And that's some of the players. Here's the ones I have. I have Andrew Jones playing with Rakuten, same team that I think he was teammates with Tanaka, Masahiro Tanaka, before he came to the Yankees. One of my favorite players, Baltimore legend, Adam Jones. He finished his career in Japan. Even though he wasn't a Major League Baseball star, I still want to add him to this video because I'm a fan of him. And every time I have an excuse to showcase a card of him, I will. He is widely considered the greatest Cuban player post trade embargo during the Castro era, before all the defections. That's Omar Linares, a Cuban legend, and he ended his career in Japan. Didn't do very well. But this is a BBM card of him in Japan, and Omar Linares probably would have been, if he was able to, he probably would have been a MLB star, but he chose not to defect because he was a star in Cuba. He wanted to spend time with his family in Cuba, and he was very highly regarded, so he didn't want to ruin a good thing. Today's mail day, another star from the MLB. Finished his career in Japan, played 1 year at the end of his career in 1988. Four-time batting champion, a World Series champion. I have any guess who it is? It is Mad Dog himself, Bill Madlock. Here's a 1988 Calbee card of Bill Madlock. It's been on my watch list for a while. Been going after trying to find some of these MLB stars in Japan. I'd love to find like the Newcomb and Doby's probably way out of my price range, but I'd like to find a Frank Howard or some of the other stars who ended their career in Japan. This is a 1988 Calbee card of Bill Madlock. Sorry for the glare there. and glad to add this to my PC. After he's finished his year with the Tigers in '87, where they won the division title, his contract was up. Nobody signed him. He went to Japan, played 1 year, and ended his career. I'm not counting after that. He did play in the senior professional league, which lasted like 2 years, but I'm not excluding that. But of the major leagues, there you have it. That's my mail day. I talked long enough. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.